And welcome back to Ionized Bastards. I'm your GM, Michael. We are in the final run of the show. We've got 3 episodes left, including this one. How are y'all doing? How are y'all feeling? You excited?
I feel bamboozled and I feel scared and I have a lot of emotions. I don't want the show to end, but also I feel terrified for it to continue. So I guess only way out is through.
That's right, baby. You're muted, Alden.
I said something mean, so I guess it was best.
I
was muted. No,
Why did you say the mean thing again?
I just said fitting words for the character most likely to die in a confrontation.
Damn.
It's like, oh yeah, the person who's usually the frontline fighter is scared. That tracks. That's fine.
I like
on the
he's
other hand,
the most likely to die in a confrontation. I'd say you're both most likely to die in a confrontation for opposite reasons.
Different reasons. Yeah. That's true.
As the 2 players on screen who have had to do some form of death saving throw before. Yeah,
I don't think I did. I got really close to dying, but I've never rolled for.
No, because the old system didn't have the death.
Well, that would probably mean
that's
that
right.
I'm going to die. Then that's what that probably means. You guys already.
Maybe it'll be a TPK.
You live forever in our hearts. Oh, like Rogue One?
Well,
like Rogue Buns?
Shout out Scotty J-Ro.
Scotty J-Ro.
Michael, I'm doing so well. I'm having about the last of the season. I'm having a Long Island iced tea at 10 p.m.
on
a Wednesday.
I'm having a cup of coffee like an adult.
I have a Diet Mountain Dew and a water.
44 alcoholic.
Diet Mountain Dew might be the diet soda that tastes most like its original soda.
That's why it's mostly the diet soda I drink.
Well, that's because Mountain Dew is in of itself so unnatural that it's just like it's already like
it's so easy to artificially produce it.
Yeah, that's like being like, oh, fucking diet Ivan Ooze is like Ivan Ooze. It's like, yeah, sure.
All I'm saying is,
wow,
Diet Cherry Dr. Pepper is the best diet soda. It just sometimes isn't in stores, and that's why I also am able to get like a fucking gigantic one of the Diet Mountain Dew. But diet soda talk could be another episode. Put that on the Patreon.
Legally, I have to say hashtag.
That's right. I should plug that. Thank you for reminding me. I have a Patreon now. You can give me money, and you can actually see a behind-the-scenes look at this episode that I recorded like an hour ago. So
go to the links. They're somewhere here.
There's some below. There's probably some on my channel, I guess. Go to my Blue Sky. I don't know. So, when last we left off, the Ionized Bastards returned to their ship with Goru and the Doxos Revenge, having successfully recaptured the last of it and dismantling it for good. You guys reconvened with Sage and Donric Callan, and finally decided to take Carlo off ice. However, little did you know that before you had even known this was in the works for Salvage, he had swapped out the carbonite block for one containing the corpse of 40's former master. And so, realizing that he had this force-sensitive body, you guys went to Goru and Zuso, who together were able to pretty quickly deduce the location that Salvage had been broadcasting from. So you guys gathered the entire New Republic fleet and flew alongside Home One and General Hera Syndulla in the Ghost to the outer, where you guys have reached the Gundark's nest, repurposed for Salvage's nefarious means. And Fabian, for a moment, you felt the utter dread and despair as the madness and the depraved consciousness of Salvage touched the Force as he had successfully implanted himself in Carlo's body.
Incredible moment. I need to say real quick, we need to give Michael his flowers. I talked about this off air with just about everybody who saw the last episode. That is one of the best narrated moments for Michael ever. I have to say that was an all-timer. We were all too caught up in the fuck shit to talk about anything other than how fucked up that was. But
the only thing people don't realize about the moment is that when he touched the Force, Salvage with 3 A's instead.
Salvage.
Deuces, please
Salvage.
stop knocking off my Jedi Prince books.
Knock the books over, Deuces.
That ass knocked over the Jedi Prince books.
He's
Knock
like,
them over.
fuck Jedi Lane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Deuces
Bro,
is
hates
like
canon.
Alden with a staunch anti-Legends take.
All my
Deuces
homies
is,
hate
Deuces is
spin.
canon only.
That's why he's sticking around for the High Republic RPG when we're done with this show.
He's
So,
sick and tired of this fucking post Jedi period.
Fabian, you have just felt that, and everyone has just seen you nearly collapse to the floor as that happened. Fabian?
He did it.
Did what? Can you stand up? You're freaking me out. What do you mean he did it?
Faven like braces himself on the two like pilot chairs to like hoist himself up. Kind of like shakes his shoulders a little bit and goes, Salvage can touch the Force.
Nah, what do you mean he can touch they can? Since when can droids do that? They can do that now?
He's in the body more.
I am not able to do that.
Yeah, 4D can't do that. But still, he doesn't have like a soul, right? I can't even believe we're having this conversation.
He's in Carlo's body.
But is there any record of this at all ever happening? Ever?
Not to my knowledge, but I can feel him in the Force. It feels like a wound. It feels like the dark side is pulsating from the Gundark's nest. I haven't felt anything like this since Fabian kind of trails off for a bit. Since Vader.
Oh, well, that's encouraging. Well,
We
I
need
don't
to get
really
in
want to pulsate with anyone's dark side. Can we just, I don't know, fire on this station? I mean, it's not like we have any love for the place. Like, there's nothing it's cooked, right? If he's got the body, it's over. Like, we'd be best to just have the entire fleet just coordinated strike on this place and be done with it. Pure Stardust. We go home.
And Fabian, around this point, you are looking at the Basterds readouts, and you're starting to pick up some encrypted transmissions. And you get Zuso on the comm, and very quickly he's like, I'm sending these over. I'm decrypting them right now. And you're seeing they aren't like audio messages. They're just text-based messages.
Yeah.
And you recognize similar styles and similar like encryption to what you saw. Guru had received similar messages from the Aldani mods that were kidnapped.
There's
And you're-
hostages on board.
And you're reading things like free us, find us, labor camps.
There's salvages. There's hostages on board. He's enslaved the mods. We can't just destroy this thing.
How do we know he's not baiting us?
You also see something about previous residents of the Gundark's nest that are currently still there.
Well,
I'm not willing to take a chance that we kill a bunch of innocent people just to get him out of here the easy way.
can we pull up a group comm frequency with Sandula and the entire? We need everybody to know this, I guess, if we're going to be doing a ground assault. Not that I'm voting for that, but seems pertinent.
Yeah, you open up a comm channel to the Ghost and to Home One.
This is the Ionized Basterds to all New Republic vessels.
It's not looking good. That's thought word just from the back.
Could you be a little more specific?
Salvage has managed to transmit his consciousness to a Force-sensitive body. There are hostages on board. We need a massive boarding party.
We'll see what we can do. We have ships launching it from outside of the Gundark's nest, it looks like. Vulture droids and the like. We'll guide you in.
Copy that, Home One. Thank you.
And you hear Hera say, this is where the fun begins.
I understood that reference.
And so the Ghost gets out in front of your ship and starts leading you guys alongside the fleet. as you are making your way toward a whole bunch of vulture droids, a few tri-fighters, and like miscellaneous, repurposed separatist ships, as well as the what little remains of the Doxos Syndicate that Salvage got his hands on. So around this point, Halex is like, 40, you might want to get on the gun.
On my way.
So you make your way down toward the turret. Fabian, I guess you're flying the bastard right now.
I guess I am.
And so, Thabor, are you going to take the co-pilot seat, or do you want Halex to try it with one hand?
I was going to ask earlier, did she not, like, in all the time it took us in the last episode,
We know
does
his
this chick
answer.
still have a single arm?
Yeah,
She's still just one-handed it.
She's never stopped. Even when we were like on the cruiser for that period of time, she didn't actually leave to go do anything about it.
Damn it.
All right. So Thalbor, like, as if he's like just grossed out by the proposition, but like just like kind of sits and is like, I would just like it to be clear that despite this hat that I picked up from the cruiser before we left, just want everybody to know what team I'm on, that did not come with any extra skills. So I'm gonna do my best, and we'll see what happens.
Okay. Which
Come
of
up
the
with
two
an
of you
enchanted
has
item called the Hat of Hope that just gives him like Leia Organa stats just because he has a rebel insignia on the hat.
That's what Ezra did with the Noti.
Basically.
What do you between Thalbor and Fabian? Which of you has the higher piloting modifier?
Oh, I wonder.
It'll be under intelligence.
Could it be the character that participated and
Look, statistically,
Oh, you
it may not align with the actual story.
I have +4 piloting.
I have 0. Thalbor James might be a better pilot than
It's
an
because
ex-Jedi.
because of
I'm gonna
intelligence.
I'm going to have
I know.
Thalbor make the role, even though canonically Fabian's the one lead pilot.
If this was a screenplay, this is what would happen. Fabian would be like when Han and Kira and Chewie are there, and Chewie and Kira switch because Kira doesn't actually know what she's doing. Like, it doesn't mean she's not smart, but it's like Fabian in a movie of this would be like, they used to just drop us on planets, and then we would run and do what we had to do. We were never actually landing ourselves. And then Thalbor would be like, "Come on, I read for a living. I read. Come on, I got this. All right, I can figure this out. I have a law degree. This cannot be much harder than that."
So go ahead and make a piloting check for me.
All
Well,
right.
Alden does that. Fabian tries to broadcast to the Doxa, or not the
Gundark's nest?
the Damale armaments.
Damali, yes,
mercenaries.
not Doxos Syndicate. Thank you for correcting me.
He
Okay.
tries to broadcast to the. I almost said Doxo Syndicate, so you're good. He broadcasts to the Damale armaments soldiers and goes, "To all mercenaries serving under Salvage currently, this is your last chance to surrender or face the consequences. You will die under him, or you can surrender and live to the New Republic. The choice is yours."
Make an intimidation check for me.
Come on, baby.
What does 16 in total?
Okay. I'm gonna get what Thalbor rolls first, and then we'll get to that.
I also rolled 16.
Okay.
I mean, I rolled 12 and then +4.
Got it. Okay. So you very quickly, you guys start getting engaged by these fighters, and so the Ghost is kind of fighting off some of them, giving you room to kind of duck and weave and maneuver through them. Fabian, you do see a handful of the Damale ships, not any of the huge, like, not quite capital ships, but like cruisers.
Frigates, yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple cruisers that start just like diverting course and then make the jump to hyperspace. Just fuck off. Just like 2 or 3 of them do that.
Well, that's something. We'll take that.
40. I want you to go ahead and make a check for me. I want you to go ahead and roll like you would be shooting your blasters. So you'll roll a d20 and add a +8 to it. as you're trying to take out ships that are encroaching on you guys.
Okay, can we split the difference? Because I will have a better attack roll than he will. So if he can pilot with his intelligence, can we attack with how I would attack?
Well, 40's the one rolling this, so 40 has the best range weapon assault.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said Alden. I'm sorry.
No.
No.
I misheard you. I
No,
apologize.
4D.
Yeah, 40.
And 4D Bachman Stubbs / Diaz. Because
Exactly. He would actually be 40
Martell
Martell
Sheems.
hyphen. Yeah. 23.
All righty. You start taking out some of these ships as soon as they start getting close. You do a little loop-de-loop in the ship, and they bring you like right in line with like 2 or 3 ships that you immediately start taking out. And a couple X-Wings fly by, take out a couple of the stragglers, and you hear, "Nice shooting, droid!"
Oh boy.
I'm helping.
What ships did the New Republic bring? Paint a picture.
There's
K-Wings.
Those ugly ass ones.
Yeah, do they bring any K-Wings?
Oh, K-Wings.
there are no K-Wings,
K-Wings is
unfortunately.
Did they bring any
refuse
B-Wings?
K-Wings and Ionized
Special K squadron.
Basterds.
Did they bring B-Wings like the endoskeleton crew?
There are 2 B-Wings.
Fuck yeah. They get them big boys and big lasers.
But mostly it's a lot of A's and X's, 1 or 2 U's in there,
Ooh.
Perfect for
There's
Pride
actually
Month.
a couple of U-Wings that are kind of trying to like fly information with you all. You assume these are the other boarding parties.
Nice.
And so I want you
How many
to
of
once
them is
again.
this their first day on the job and or right before retirement? Just so we know how many reinforcements we'll actually have with us for real.
I'd say this is probably going to be looking like a bit of a Scarif situation with how many forces you have on the ground.
That's a great comparison to hear. Thank you.
Wow.
So you continue your approach to the station. Y'all are about halfway there from where you dropped off at. So Thalbor, I want you to make another piloting check for me. And 40, another check on those guns.
Rolling again.
Well, my camera
This
tries
time,
to
oof.
focus.
This time was not a good roll. I only got an 8.
Okay.
27.
27, okay.
All right.
7, bitch.
So the driving got a little sketch, but we still killed some
All my
people.
homies hate vulture droids.
Yeah, fuck
So-
Yeah.
Thalbor and Fabian, you guys start getting like really overwhelmed with the amount of ships coming at you. And it seems like they're really targeting you more than some of the other ships.
Oh,
And so-
my surprise.
So Hera tries to like chase a couple of them off, but you've got a couple that are like right on your ass. And 40's managed to take a few of them out, but there's 1 or 2 stragglers that are starting to get some hits off and starting to deplete y'all's shields before another squadron of X-Wings swoops in, takes them out. And you hear Hera on the comm go, "Thanks for the assist, Inferno."
Oh, banger.
Damn.
Real quick, Thalbor, just for the sake of knowing, like I'm gonna yell back at Halex. How much shield maintenance do you think a one-armed person can do? Just ballpark figure.
More than you, asshole! As she's
Well-
like actively working on it.
Great. Just checking.
Fabian says, "Thank you, honey," and then let's stop saying, "Honey." And then and he's like, "I'm gonna hear about that later if I survive this." And like flipping Star Wars switches and shit.
Oh yeah, there's so much switch flipping going on.
Oh yeah.
A lot of
I
these.
say- You hear like from the bowels of the ship in the turret. Fabian, are you okay? I'm sensing some palpitations.
Yeah, buddy, we're just fighting the whole separatist fleet right now. Don't worry about me. Keep
No,
shooting
this
them
is
down.
different.
Don't worry about me. Keep shooting them down.
Okay.
If we survive this, we're gonna have to give them the birds and the bees talk. And so help me, you will be leading that conversation.
Happily.
And so you guys are on approach toward one of the hangars, and very Revenge of the Sith-esque, the ghost takes out the control for the shields, and the shutter door starts closing, and you hear Hera go, "This is your chance! May the Force be with you!"
You're not flying in too?
I'm not part of the boarding party!
Oh, come on!
It's just me on this ship.
You didn't
New
bring
public boarding
you didn't bring any crew. You want to
She's
drop
at
some
Earth's
names?
Force.
Is Zeb visiting his boyfriend? What's going
I was
on?
I was
That was Zeb on the
Satisfaction
comm
will be served
earlier,
in
actually.
Sabine.
I was no. I was hoping to hear like an astromech come over the comm and drop some slurs.
Yeah, you do hear
Oh
and
my
40, you're just like,
goodness.
oh my.
I didn't realize they could say stuff like that. Mike, there are ladies present.
I've never heard those. I'm adding those to my repertoire.
It's
Whenever
like you and
the
the
bastard
U-wings.
hits the hangar, I think Fabian like we fucking like Tokyo drift this motherfucker through the main hangar.
Oh yeah.
And as the other like drop ships start coming in, Fabian over the comm goes, "New Republic boarding party. This is Fabian Martel. Mount the fuck up." And like before we're even done moving, Fabian is out of the chair, like drawing his fucking lightsabers.
This is the only time I'll forgive you saying mount up as Halex like unholsters her blasters.
So, I'm unclear about something. Where is the rest of the boarding party entering from? Is there a rendezvous in this? We did not discuss that.
There were a couple other U-wings that landed with you guys in this hangar.
Okay. All right. U-wing crews, form up on us. Or something. I'm not
So
really
you're
sure
just
what
like
you all
rallying
say.
folks in the hangar as the boarding ramps come down.
All right. Gather around.
And out of one of the U-wings, out comes Donric leading,
Oh.
followed closely by Sage,
All right.
Kane Zarek,
Oh, good.
Zuso,
All right.
Goru,
Cool.
Tuck,
Oh,
and
nice.
Jim.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so afraid right now.
The Avengers
We have a second
assemble.
Jedi, though. We have a second Jedi, so that's good.
Bum 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 bum.
See, that's what I
And then
should
it's
say my
Jim.
mount up for. That's what I should have said the mount up instead of.
And then an Ugnaught comes out,
Jim's
Like-
still carrying the gun that you gave him.
chewing tobacco.
Wrench in one hand, gun in the other.
Wow, look at this intrepid group of New Republic heroes that we stand before us. He leans over to Fabian. Yeah, we're gonna die. For sure. For sure.
I think I like these odds. Fabian says, like, having clearly written his will on the way here in his mind.
Tuck, good to see you. Thank God. I mean that totally sincerely. We're gonna need you.
It's good to see you
Oh,
too,
man.
but we should have a drink when all this is done.
Yeah, sure. We're gonna have that chance.
I love watching Michael play Bill. This is actually fun.
The key is just to stay smiling.
If only Lonnie were here.
Who?
Lonnie.
Racist pod racer.
Lonnie,
You don't wanna know.
we love
The
Lonnie. We have
asshole
such
who
good-
died a week ago on the pod race course?
Oh, come on. He
Was it just a
co-
week ago? Holy shit.
He was a complicated figure. All right.
Lonnie
But-
appears
He
as
had a
Force
certain
Ghost.
he had a certain as they say on Ryloth, je ne sais quoi.
I was gonna say, as they say on Gorman, we had the same
Oh,
joke in our minds.
I was gonna say, but one of the
Certain,
space
je ne
Francis,
sais quoi,
yeah.
certain, maison, it's complicated.
Also, just as a
Lonnie's
note-
Force Ghost appears on the edge of the hangar as as
Dude,
Tuck
like,
looks to Jim
flipping
and
everyone
goes,
off.
"And who are you, bud?" And Jim goes, "Jim who?" And then he sees Lonnie's Force Ghost and goes, "What was Lonnie's last name again? Dykstra?
Gibstra.
Gibstra. Jim Dykstra." And then everybody claps. Anyway,
Well,
Just as a note,
But
all of-
why does Jim live on the Gundark's nest for the rest of his life now?
just as a note,
oh,
the hangar currently has like red emergency lighting.
awesome.
good.
Ooh.
Just
Fantastic.
as a note.
Cool.
Fantastic.
Fabian goes into
So then we can start the Guardians of the Galaxy needle drop of no sleep till Brooklyn.
Oh yeah. I was
right,
early
as we're
on that.
walking in and just complete the entire like fantasy of yeah.
And then Halex is kind of looking around and saying, "All right, I think this is a decent crew. I guess we should get out of this hangar and start trying to find these hostages."
You know, ultimately, I think we've all worked with worse crews. I think that is true of all of our careers.
Kanae's like, no, I'm pretty sure this is the worst one I've worked for.
Well,
Because
there's
I
gonna be
haven't
a lot of
paid yet.
gonna be a lot of money in it for you when it's over. You know, we met Mom Mothma. She's rich.
No, that's the sexiest thing you've ever said to me, Mr. Shames.
I do try. All right, so which way are we walking?
And around this point, a set of doors open as there's two B2 super battle droids. And then Halex is like, I think right there. And so as you all start charging toward that door, I'm going to allow y'all some narrative freedom to describe how you want to take out just some miscellaneous grunt droids as you start making your way through this hallway. Again, you've got almost complete narrative freedom here. So
I want
get creative.
Thoughtward to like look at the droids, look back at the group, look at the droids, look back at the group, and be like, "Well, we all know about the Clone Wars. Talk, Fabian, if you would just, could we speed this up a little?"
Fabian kind of bum rushes in, and I think for the first time, this would be the first time anybody's seeing him fight with a saber staff.
Yeah.
Because they've seen him dual wield a little bit. So he goes in there and it is just like a lot of those like broad sweeping slashes, like a lot of like spinning of the saber that looks superfluous to somebody who doesn't know what the fuck lightsaber combat looks like, but it's like you have to maintain the momentum to effectively use a saber staff. So that thing should never be stationary. So it looks like Fabian is showboating, but he's just kind of just carving through these fucking things and just keeping that saber moving. And it's just a lot of like full body, like twirling around his body.
Yeah, and whichever ones you don't get in your big sweeping motions, Tuck is kind of picking off through some more like precise, almost Makashi-esque, but not quite, attacks. Halex starts like, she's like staying close, like still kind of out of range of your saber staff, just a little wary of being close with a lightsaber that you're wielding, while also taking out some of the stragglers with a pistol. Sage is going at it with a vibro sword against a few of them. There's a couple of the like commando droids that he's kind of sparring with right now. Donrick is kind of holding back with a rifle. Him and Kanae are kind of sniping targets. Thobor, what are you doing? Do you want to team up with anyone? Are you staying back or just watching?
Thobor looks at Jim and who's left. So that'd be Jim,
Jim, Gor, and Zuso. Yeah,
so it's Jim and the two Gungans. So
we don't have any New Republic people with us. It's just
y'all are kind of leading the charge on this one, and it's not exactly a spacious hallway. So.
No, for sure. I was making sure there were other like jobbers there.
Yes, of course.
Thobor looks at Jim and the two Gungans and goes, "All right, well, I guess we're Freak Squad. Just double tap everything that hits the ground." And so we're rear guard, like everyone's up here, we're behind, and we're just at everything that's already downed.
Yes. And as you're doing that, Jim just completely ignores you, and you just hear him go as he sticks the blaster in his mouth and takes a wrench, undoes one of the ventilation shafts, and then just gets into it.
Where are you going?
And you just hear banging around in the walls as Jim runs off, and you just hear, "I'm in his fucking walls!"
All right. New Republic, I know you're busy outside dogfighting, but there might be some light terrorism going on here, but the kind that we endorse. So we'll see what happens.
And Chopper goes, "Whoa."
For real.
Yeah. Chopper approves.
At one point, sorry, go ahead. Jerry.
No, I was gonna say that 40 is using that patented assassin droid agility, and he also has we still have the saber or the electro staff.
Yeah.
So he is using that and putting that through droid face plates left and right.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
And actually
this time it's personal. He's not sitting back and sniping. This time, like 40's like in there, like I think like when he immediately like ignites it and stuff, it kind of does like a little like outward kind of motion and stuff. He like puts it up between two droids' heads and
honestly, this is
yeah.
like the payoff for 40 learning like lightsaber basics too, right? Like this is like we've sort of like unintentionally teased that a little that he would be more in.
And I think that he's, as the childlike droid that he is watching his one of his dads like, you know, swing the stuff around him, and he like kind of like, you know, like does a little bit of that himself as well and stuff like that. So
Fabian, like after like cleaving a B2 in half, kind of like turns like over his shoulder, holding it kind of in that like Darth Maul style ready stance, and goes, "Good form," and then just like comes through and then like uppercuts another one down the middle vertically.
Hell yeah. And Sage is kind of backing you up, 40, just watching your back, taking on anyone coming after you while your back is turned. And he kind of turns to you and he's like, "Nice moves, kid."
Thank you.
And Fabian, at one point when you're nearing the end of this hallway, you kind of go low against some of these droids, and while you're sweeping downward, Halex like steps up off your back, jumps over you, and then just like very quickly, as she's in the air, takes out a handful of droids, somersaults, follows through, lands on her feet.
That
I will let 4D say whatever he wants to say about Fabian's heart rate in this moment.
Fabian, I feel like you have a tremendous blood flow leaving your entire body and going to one certain spot.
He damn well better.
Fabian's heart gives out, and this is how he dies. Fabian fully like Force Ghost, like the combat gear just fall to the ground without him in it.
So
Buzz Lightyear wing boner joke style. Anyway,
you guys finish off the last of these droids, and Tuck's like, "I ain't never had a fight like that."
You're in for a lot more, kid. Get ready.
Oh, I'm ready. I hope they are.
I'm so afraid for Tuck. He's so good.
Everything pure.
I'm so much more afraid for Tuck than I am for Jim.
And you reach a series of terminals, and Zuso and Goru kind of get to work. Zuso speaks up and he goes, "We go down 2 levels and we'll find the labor camps where most of the hostages are. I think they're mostly the original residents of the Gundark's nest. Goru, you Saboyos are going to be 2 floors up. I can stay here and do what I can to make sure that Salvage cannot transmit his consciousness out. He's got no escape plan. This has to be the last stand."
Well, I'm not sure how I feel about those words, but respect it.
Do we want to have maybe?
Don't say it.
Like how many?
Don't say it.
How many New Republic soldiers do we have with us, and how many can we spare to stay here and act as a security detail for Zuzo?
2.
And so Donrick kind of starts talking with a couple of the commanders of each of the squads, and he's like, "I think we can leave 1 squad here, which will be about 6, just to be safe. We do have a lot of heavy hitters here, so they can do most of the hard work when it comes to liberating these camps."
All right. Zuzo, you good with 6?
Misa can work with 6.
All right. Work hard, stay safe.
He gives a big thumbs up.
Well,
and Sage at this point opens up a turbo lift door, and he's like, "You guys start with the camps. I'm going to start scouting out for Salvage."
No, the fuck you aren't. No one's doing this shit alone. Absolutely not. You get your narrow ass in this turbo lift with us. We're freeing all the hostages. Nobody faces him alone.
I didn't say I was going to face him.
Do I look like an idiot to you?
Fabian.
Get in the turbo lift, Sage. That's an order.
Please.
You're right. It is the smart thing to do.
Yeah, I know.
But I don't work for the New Republic. He's my son. As he closes the turbo lift door.
Fuck.
No. Say
There's a beat of silence. Thought starts nodding. Mm-hmm. So he's dead. We're never seeing that guy again.
We got to do this quick with these camps because he's not going to last long against Salvage.
So Donrick kind of comes up to you, Fabian, and he's like, okay, so Sage told me a bit about what he was feeling, and so did Tuck. How bad is it if he is now a part of the Force, I guess?
I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm going to tell you what I told the Bastards. I haven't felt a presence this dark, angry, and powerful since Vader.
Fuck. Okay. Well, we're stuck in here with him now, so I guess we will do what we can. Let's get down to those camps. If we can get these people to fight alongside us, then maybe we can overturn this place easier.
Maybe. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out on the fly. And as Fabian says that, he's like visibly has something in his mind that he doesn't plan on sharing with anybody.
All right. So you
Can
guys
we call him out on that?
Do you want to? Well, in the turbo lift ride down, you want to call him out on it?
Well, like, would I notice? Can I do a perception
I'd
check
say
on him?
probably, yeah. You'd notice that Fabian's got a dark expression on his face that's a little moodier than usual.
All right, so I got a beat of silence, and then, all right, we might die. So there's just no way I'm sitting on this. You're giving off horrendous energy right now. You better spill whatever it is that you're thinking. You better not try to be a hero. You better clue us in right now, because this is it, man. No more games.
Just, we're going to focus on extraction.
No, you need to tell us.
I am telling you, we need to focus on extraction.
We were going to do that anyway
Really?
before you started giving off this putrid vibe.
If we can get as many of these innocents off the ship, then we can begin a bombardment. And we need to be prepared in the event that somebody might need to keep Salvage pinned down here to do that. Worst case scenario. I don't think that'll be what happens. I'm just mentally preparing for hard choices that have to be made here soon. That's all.
The death chemist was supposedly killed in a bombardment. I don't intend to repeat that mistake. We have to personally see this one through, Fabian.
Fabian, I know that in your head, with everything that you've been through, you're thinking this might have to be you. And look, maybe no one wants to say this out loud, but there are some people in this boarding party that we're really not that close with. Like, there are ways out of this. You know, we don't even know where Jim is. You know, Jim could be soloing Salvage right now, for all we know. So it's just, don't get too in your head about self-sacrifice. You start putting yourself in that mode.
I'm not in any mode. I'm just trying to.
You're in a mode.
He's in a mode.
I'm not in a mode.
You are in a mode.
I'm not in a mode. I'm not in a mode. I'm just thinking. I'm trying to plan ahead.
You know, Ithorian women, when they're in a mode, they usually garden. You should consider that instead of whatever it is you're considering right now. I'm just saying.
Garden sounds nice.
So, you guys, the turbo lift opens at this point. And this level is also having the red emergency lighting up. Like the station's in like a low power mode. Fabian, you've only seen the station in this emergency lighting like a couple times. And you generally haven't been to the pits much at all. Or not to the pits, the heap, rather.
Yeah.
You spent most of your time up in the pits, but you know enough that it looks drastically different than it did before. There are pipes, tubes, and wires all over these walls that are almost like veins, like as if this were like the inside of a living organism. this station is drastically different than it was. And these people have been working on building this as the hub of salvage, you can kind of tell. And your turbolift comes up on kind of an overlook over one of the old like scrap yards of the Gundark's nest, and it looks like it's been very haphazardly retrofitted into a labor camp, salvaging parts for salvage. As you see, there are several encampments kind of down below, worked amongst the wreckage of this. And you do hear the kind of station's intercom go off around this point, and you hear, "There's too many lives. Kill them. Kill them all. Kill them all. Kill them all. Everyone in this station must die. Kill them all."
Not sure I love that.
Fuck.
Don't get in a mode. Do not get in a mode. All right.
You're kind of in a mode.
So can we get in there and start freeing enslaved people?
Yeah, I mean, you can see there are a couple of droid guards around the encampment that start like arming up like they're about to go in. The New Republic soldiers are starting to kind of take care of them, so you don't have to worry about that part. But you guys very quickly kind of scramble over to a comm array that controls the intercom system. And you do have the moment to kind of start speaking to these people to try and get them to rise up and fight. And everyone kind of looks at Thawbor as the kind of de facto talker. But Fabian, you are also there with the connection to the Gundark's nest. So both of you guys, if you want, can kind of take up this moment to start reaching out to these people.
Fabian defers to Thawbor for this one.
Oh, wonderful. You know, so glad your champion prize fighter reputation is really pulling through here, Fabian. All right. I got this.
Well, why don't you just incorporate that into your speech, asshole?
It's actually not a bad idea. All right. People of this, you know, let's just call it what it is. It's a war crime. This is definitely not great. This is the kind of stuff that they would record and then show it in a black and white holo in a school on Coruscant a few years down the road. We will get you all fed soon. I have no doubt about that, provided that we live, which brings me to my next point. We're going to need your help to live. And I can attest to the fact that you will not survive this situation alone. You just won't. I'm not saying that to scare you. I'm saying that to be realistic, to level with you, and to present you with an opportunity. We have here the prize fighter that used to beat ass on this place every Tongs Day, every day after Tongs Day, every day after the day after Tongs Day. It's very unclear what the days are called, but there's a Tongs Day in there. And so help me, blood was spilt on it. But look at how far he got with a crew here to the end to face a great evil. There's X-Wings out there. This is one of those moments where push comes to shove and you get to decide if you're going to be a statistic or if you're going to be somebody that they talk about in those hollows. If you're going to be somebody that we toast to in the next bar that hopefully doesn't get turned into a concentration camp. I mean, I was trying not to say it. That's what this is. You were definitely going to be gassed at some point. But you're not. So don't be afraid. Now, right here is one of my oldest associates. This is Kimmy. Kimmy has been recording everything that's been happening for the last, I don't know, how long have we been a crew now? 8 months, however long it's been. And you all need to be a part of the next chapter. You all need to be a part of this. So when we look back, we see that there was strength in numbers and that we weren't stupid for, picking up an Ugnaught that we we did lose. We don't know where he is, but he's here somewhere and he's doing his part, allegedly. That we weren't stupid for trusting a Gungan to lead 6 soldiers on a different level of this station. Please, we really hope it works. That we weren't stupid for, sweet talking people and promising to pay them later. It's all come together basically on glue and like popsicle sticks and everything, but it has come together. And you guys can strengthen it just a little bit more if you all dig deep and help us finish this thing once and for all. It's bigger than me. There's shit I don't understand. The Force, Maxi Big, as some people say. But you're a part of that, whether you like it or not. I'm a part of it. I should probably be in jail, but I'm here. I'm here. Like, let's be real. Let's be real. Like, I'm not asking you to be a hero. I'm not asking you to know what the next right choice is. I'm not asking you to suddenly become the type of hero that gets a medal at a ceremony. I'm not asking you for any of that. But what I am saying is that the types of assholes that you very well may be have a role to play too. You don't need to figure out all the answers, but I need you to get knocked down, get back up, and spit the blood back at him today. Not tomorrow. We might not have one. So, who's with me? Who's got a set on them?
Make a persuasion check at advantage for me. If you would
And
like
well,
to use your
Faven-
maneuver to give yourself, I think, an extra die on that, now would be a good time to do so.
I mean,
Well,
I've got
Thal was-
persuasion. I got persuasion plus 11, so I feel all right.
Well, Thalwar gives his speech, and Faben's like piecing up some of the battle droids that are like guarding the prisoners.
Mhm.
Every time Faben cuts down a B1 or a commando droid or anything that's holding a blaster, Faben starts like force throwing the blasters
Yes.
to the liberated prisoners. As he is
Fuck,
like,
yes.
Faben is for the first time feeling like a capital J Jedi and is like in that fucking pocket.
All right, 27.
All right. So, Faben, you see a lot of eyes drawn to you and to the white lightsaber in the midst of all this red lighting. As you see, at first you only saw
blue because I'm in saber staff mode.
Yes.
So it is very colorful right now.
They see both sabers flying as the former champion of the nest has returned home and is fighting for their freedom. And at first you just saw a handful of people outside of the encampments, and very slowly, it's a couple hundred. And soon enough, they're picking up blasters left and right. Some of them are just picking up pipes or whatever pieces of scrap are available to them.
Hell yeah.
There's a couple of New Republic guys with spare blasters who are just handing people whatever they can. And very quickly, there is a march on the rest of the station. By the time Thalbor finishes his speech, they are running out through the doors, going every which way, going up the turbo lifts to take their home back.
Fuck yeah.
Thalbor looks back and is like,
Fuck the man.
all right, not going to lie. Feels pretty good. Feels almost as good as making a lot of money. And that's a hard feeling to get close to.
And you do hear a few of your allies on the comms. You hear Tuck go, hell of a speech, man. That was really something. And Kanae's like,
Thanks, Tuck.
you can really talk your way out of anything, you smooth bastard.
Well, it's almost as if this is my third season of doing it, metaphorically speaking, of course. I just want to say for everybody, for everybody still within earshot, if you received a blaster from a New Republic officer, you do not have to return it later. It will not count as petty larceny. I think it's all on the up and up at this point. In fact, it might even count as a job application. They're very loose with that these days.
So do we still need to go? I don't know if we went down or up, whatever direction the mods are in. Do we still need to go get the mods?
That would probably be recommended, as Guru did kind of go at it by himself. So
I realized he went by himself. I thought he was saying that's like okay.
well, by himself in terms of the major players. There were a couple New Republic guys who.
Okay.
But-
Well, I think these guys have a pretty good handle on it since they probably have these battle droids outnumbered 10-1. Seeing as how many fucking hostages there were, it was way more than I was anticipating.
And that was just in this one gathering of them. Presumably, there's a couple more. That your speech was also broadcast to.
Okay, so we can safely go for the mods, and we're not necessarily. Obviously, there's going to be casualties, but we can we're not leaving these people to die if we go to mod town now.
Yes, you guys can pretty safely
let's
go.
Fall back and go for the mods then.
So around this point, Halix kind of looks at you, Fabian, and she's like, I think I'm going to split off and kind of watch after some of these guys. I don't think in the fight with the big bad, I'm going to be much of a help with one hand and a blaster.
I really don't like splitting more people off. Are you sure?
I'm sure I don't want to be a distraction when shit hits the fan.
You're not going to be a distraction. If anything... And then Fabian starts hearing some shit in his head that was spoken in inverted syntax to him about fucking attachments.
Mm-hmm.
And then remembers he's not literally a part of that club anymore in a legal sense. They're going to need a leader down here. You're right. Be careful.
I don't need to be careful. I've got a blaster and an assassin's instincts. You be careful, and you come back alive so I don't have to go up there and kill that metal bastard for you.
Roger that. Fabian force pulls her closer and lays one on her.
She returns the favor.
Hey, Lex approves. The fucking Baldur's Gate thing.
And then throws the blaster up in the air, smacks you on the ass, catches the blaster, and then moves out.
Slaps me on the ass.
She's cool, man. She's cool.
Hell yeah.
She's just cool.
And then, Donrick just sort of, appears in frame and is like, how the fuck did you land that?
Donrick, all right. No, you don't need to objectify her, all right? You perv.
I'm just saying.
I don't even understand human sexuality, and I'm impressed.
He goes, man, I'm gay and she's fine.
All right. Happy Pride, I guess. Let's get to it.
Fabian's just grinning and shrugging. He's got he just let all that speak for itself.
So you guys take the turbo lifts up. Most of your other allies have kind of split off with the horde of these folks as you guys come up to the floor with the Aldani mods on it. And this is a much more traditionally residential section. It looks like a lot of the kind of apartments have been retrofitted into more prison cells. And there's a few more droids here that Fabian and 40, you do most of the work taking out, but or even a couple of them that get a little closer, and you get them with a wrist blaster,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which of our named allies are with us at this point, or is it pretty much just the core bastards?
It's just the core bastards and Donrick right now that are in this.
So unfortunately for Thalbor, the core bastards.
At one point, Jim does pop out of a ventilation shaft, take a pot shot at one, and then duck back into the shaft and disappear.
Pops out of what?
A ventilation shaft.
Of what?
A ventilation shaft.
Thank you. I was waiting for someone to go, the ventilation shaft, but
the ventilation shaft.
I guess I was asking for too much from a group of Star Wars fans,
Sorry that I don't want to do.
No, I was picking up what you were stepping in. Okay, I just
after the racist accent discussion last episode, 2 episodes ago.
So not allowed to make those under New Republic law.
I think Fabian is just every time he walks past the door control, especially because he's in saber staff mode, he's just boom, 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 just hitting every single door control he sees.
Yep.
Kind of indiscriminately freeing people, and same thing. He's just force throwing every weapon near a door he can find so that everybody can arm themselves as efficiently as possible.
Yeah. And you make it to sort of this like central chamber where you do see Goru is currently like evading the electro staff of a Magna Guard that's pursuing him. And the Magna Guard turns and sees all of you and starts to approach. And I'm going to give y'all, again, some narrative freedom here to work through your fight with a miscellaneous Magna Guard. You've taken one of these bastards before, and they can be tough. But tell me a little bit about this fight.
Look, I'm gonna level with y'all. I'm not going near it. I'm not doing that again.
It does like start going straight for Thalbor as Thalbor like
You know what?
takes a couple steps back and then like hastily closes the door.
No, you know what happens? He goes for the doorstep, but like as it's going for Thalbor, 40 steps in, grabs the staff and like sticks his in its guts.
There you go.
And
That's something.
Pulls itself further onto the staff and then tries swinging at you, and so you have to kind of back off. So your staff is stuck in it as it's swinging wildly at you, and Fabian, you very quickly.
I was gonna say, yeah, Fabian like force jumps over 40 and throws his saber staff like a fucking javelin into this thing's fucking head.
Yeah, and so you decapitate it, and it's still trying to go at 40 a little bit more wildly. It does like stomp on the hilts of one of the lightsaber, not like crushing it, but like pinning it down so that you can't pick your lightsaber back up. At least not right away. So it's sort of flailing around wildly, kind of trying to fend both of you off at the same time, as you've both been technically disarmed.
Okay. Fabian reaches behind his coat pocket and takes out Jax Kalen's lightsaber and cuts it in half because I said I brought it with me.
Fuck
Because
yes.
I knew you'd pull some shit like this.
I love it. So you
Got your ass, Michael. Got you.
Slice the droid kind of the same way you did Salvage's first body, the diagonal slash, and it like scrapes up against the electro staff, but because it's made of frick, obviously it doesn't cut through it. And so as it sort of tumbles and falls apart, you're just, again, Salvage's voice is just echoing throughout the station. He's just saying, kill them all. Kill them all. There's too many.
Fabian takes back his saber staff, deactivates Jax's green, tucks it again, like under his coat on his back.
And Goru kind of like gets up and he's like, how many saber lighties you need?
More than one.
And so the kind of mods of Aldani start to kind of gather. They are dressed very similarly to like the mods in Book of Boba. They look very dissimilar to the other residents of Aldani that you're maybe more familiar with. But they kind of gather around and they start thanking some of you. As some of them are starting to like head out, blasters in hand, Goru looks at all of you and he says, I know we've had our differences, but Misa Oyu owes a life debt for this.
We'll sort that out later. Start getting them to the U-Wing so we can get an extraction going. Well, nobody's leaving yet. Nobody's leaving yet. I'm not in a mode. Nobody's leaving yet. Just get them to the ships.
You are definitely.
Thalbor's still behind that door or something. I don't know.
Yeah, Thalbor opens the door.
40...
You're definitely in a mode.
Yep, for sure.
So, you guys, at this point, continue clearing out a few more droids. And around this point, Sage does get on the comm. And he says, I think I've located where he is. He's saying it in a very hushed tone.
Well, it's good to know you're still alive.
Transmit your location. Do not engage.
I'm not. Be careful.
Stay put. Stay put. We have your location. Stay careful. Stay hidden. Try to mask your presence in the Force. Am I able to ask Sage like what he's seeing? Is he able to communicate that, or does he have to like if I'm going to make it more likely for him to get caught if I ask him any questions? I will not ask questions.
So he's like, if you follow most of the wires and the tubes, there's a clear concentration near the core of the station where they're all leading to, where I think the real him is, not just him in my son's body.
Interesting. All right. We're going to come to you. We're going to get everybody as back together as we can. And Fabian punches out of that, relays that to everybody as we start heading in that direction. Fabian then gets back on his comm and goes, New Republic boarding party. This is Martel. He like transmits Sage's location to them and goes, we think we have a location on Salvage's core brain. Anybody who can peel off from the engagement you're currently in, please meet us there. If you can't, may the force be with you.
And around this point, you hear Tuck pipe in, and he goes, I'll do what I can, but there sure are a lot of destroyer droids right now. And then Kane pipes up, and he's like, it's tough to get through these things' shields. They're kind of routing us a little bit, but we'll get there as quick as we can.
Do a double jump and slam down. That was a Lego Star Wars joke for the audience.
I got you.
I'd like to see you do a double jump.
Nah, we don't do that. We could barely do a single jump.
Like I said, focus on what you got going on. If you have an opportunity to come assist, do so. If not, we'll be okay.
All right. So you guys continue making your way to where Sage said he would be. You make your way down through the turbo lift. And as you attempt to reestablish contact with Sage, all you hear is static.
Okay.
Is a problem with our comms, or should we expect the worst?
Well, can I sense him in the force still?
Yes, but you're also sensing flare-ups of the dark side. Like it's almost like a heartbeat of the dark side. And it is the similar flavor of the madness you sensed in the Force, but it is raw, it is untamed. There's no control to it. It is a pure lashing out of raw power.
Okay. We get there as fast as we can and prepare for a fight.
And eventually you do hit a few sets of blast doors that fade, and it takes you a couple minutes to kind of cut through, enough for you guys to fit through. And you do reach this large kind of... it looks like it was intended to be a scrapyard at one point, but it's been repurposed for whatever this is. Again, there are just wires and everything lining the walls of this, which in the red emergency lighting makes it look almost organic. And on the ground before you, you see a scorched, smoldering corpse of Sage. And across the room from you, almost on all fours, is a young human man who's like spittle at the mouth is coming down with a cybernetic implant along the back of his head, lightning crackling in one hand, a crimson lightsaber in the other. Kill them all. Kill them all. And like you can hear the accented harsh voice of Salvage echoing through the walls, as at the same time through a normal human voice, it is coming through this human figure. Salvage is here. He's ready for a fight. One last battle for the fate of the Gundark's nest, maybe even for the fate of the Force. And that's where we're going to end this episode of Ionized Bastards.
I'll tell you where we're going to start the next episode.
Been nice
at
at knowing everybody.
I'll tell you where we're going to start the next episode. A little tease for the listeners. It's just like